Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Easy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the Emil 2, the Tier 9 Swedish tank, the auto reloader. Now, in all fairness, I do think this is better than the Kranvagn. The armor wise I don't think is better. On stats, it's not better anyway. But this tank you're coming up against Tier 8. So the DPM, just like the Kranvagn, very, very poor at 1911. I mean, look at all the other heavy tanks with armor, apart from the AMX, who's the auto loader. It's very, very poor in the aspect of DPM. Penetration is not so bad compared to all the rest of them. Of course, it has the 4.78 second rate of fire. Reload 11.14, 9.28 and 9.28. 120 caliber gun. Aim time is, I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst, and the dispersion is not the worst. So not too bad in that aspect. 9 degrees of gun depression, but again, just like the Kranvagn, it's quite slow at 30 kilometers an hour. Now, the turret on this thing is 175 millimeters. Not the best of turrets. It isn't the best of turrets, but it is slightly angled. You use that gun depression, then the turret does become very, very strong. And also the hull armor is not bad at 110 millimeters as well. So we've got 2 games for you. One of them is me, which I done yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. I think it was Thursday. And then we've got one with someone else, Jimpa, I think his name is, on the exact same map, exact same spawn. Now, these are the best kind of maps for this tank. If you can get in on a map like Mines or this map, then it's absolutely perfect, because you can put to use that 9 degrees of gun depression. You can put to use the whole the turret armor and the upper plate of your hull. So do try and get into these positions, and that is where the speed boost does come into play, because you can get into these positions quite quickly. Now, you can see the Emil there. You can see just how strong that turret is when it is in that hold down position. So I thought it was great, because this was not one of my first battles, but it was the first game I've come up against an Emil 2, and you could just see how strong that turret is. And when you're looking at the tank that you're driving on your enemy team in the same kind of positions, then it gives you some kind of idea on how to play your tank, because you can see it, and you can see how strong the turret is. You can clearly see how strong the turret is. The HE there, the poor Scorpion, is absolutely getting wrecked. But just like I say with any auto loader or any auto reloader, be careful what you're shooting. What I mean by that is your DPM in this is so low, just like the Kranvagn. And I'm always going to stick, I'm never going to change my opinion. If you've only got 1 shell reloaded and you have a shot, then I would recommend in taking that shot, getting that shot, because you might not have it by the time you reload that second shell. But when you are firing your gun, make sure you're hitting. Make sure you have a very high chance of hitting and a very high chance of penetrating, because your DPM's bad. Your DPM is very, very bad. Now, we just lost half of our hit points there on just for me trying to get 1 shot off, because you need to get those shots off. You have to. And considering now the Emil is taken care of, I thought I'd get 1 shot there and then go towards the WZ111, which we are going to get a shot. We do get that bounce, which you can. I mean, we've bounced 1900 damage this game, and that is just the position we were sat at. But now we are getting wrecked by the medium tanks up there, and you can see the T54E1, which hasn't got the best of guns. He is no problem whatsoever. I think it was him anyway. He's penetrating us with no issue. So I am backing up. I am now a 1 shot to the WZ, so I don't want to come out just yet. I am rating to reload, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take the medium out while I have that 1 shell reloaded. And that's what I mean. If I would have waited for the second shell to be reloaded, I might not have had that shot. Off, so he would have still survived. So we do have now 1 shell remaining. We do get a lucky bounce there. We are only on 22 HP, so we do need to be very, very careful. But we do have a couple of shells now reloaded. So with 2 shells, we could clear this AMX, which we are going to do, and we can actually go and clear the WZ. I think he's going to get taken care of from the T54 lightweight. So I mean, 2,300 damage, block damage we've got there. We are going to get a couple more shots there. Nice HE into the back of the Borzik, and we are now going to get that shot and the kill. So I thought that was a pretty good game. I mean, 2,300 blocked. We finished on 4,400. This is how good the tank is. I mean, that's only a second class. That's only a second class. Yes, the damage is not the greatest, but for 1,400 base XP in a tier 9, and that's only a second class, that just goes to show how well people are doing in this tank. For that to only be a second class a day after it's released, and it's a whole new line, not many people will be playing this tank yet because they have to grind the line. But that is just how hard this tank is to ace. Now, this was done, I think, on the day of the tanks being released. And again, like I've said, same map, same spawn, and he's pretty much going into the exact same position as I was. Now, what he's going to do is he's actually going to wait for that third shell to reload, which it was a good idea because it was only a couple of seconds. I mean, if you're only a couple of seconds away from reloading and you know that in 2 seconds time that tank's still going to be there, then of course wait for 2 seconds to get that third shell. That's just common sense. But if he had 2 shells remaining and he had 8 or 9 seconds, then yes, I would have used those 2 shells in getting the damage, because 9 seconds is an awful long time for a tank, you to be looking at a tank and you to be actually out in the open, possibly taking some damage. So the Glacial is now a one-shot, so he's already on 1,600 damage just from the one magazine that he used against this Glacial. Now, he's going to play a bit aggressive here. We don't know where the TDs are at the moment, but he's going to come now behind the AMX, the Action X, sorry. He's going to get 1 HE shot into the rear, and he's got 2 shells, so he should be able to clear him with 2 shells. He's got 1 shell, but the IS-3 does manage to take him out. Now, there is the ISU-152 coming, and a rear, you don't want to be showing your rear. I mean, the rear of these can be HE'd quite easily. And now he's doing pretty much is what I always say to do. He's just going to try and bait the shot. He's going to reload 1 shell. He's going to come out, get the shot, and then back up again. And that is how I personally play the tank. You could sit here and reload 2 shells to get the kill if you really wanted to. There is really no right or wrong. If you use just the reload 1 shell, shoot, reload 1 shell, the DPM is going to be much less than 1,900 for sure. But it all depends on how you prefer to play it. I mean, he might have reloaded 3 shells and then gone out. Same as here, he's got 1 shell. Does he leave the Leopard, or does he bring him down to a 1 shot? Because if he's reloading, I mean, look, if he was reloading, he wouldn't have had that shot. I know the Conway killed him, but he wouldn't have had that shot if he would have waited another 9 seconds. And the Leopard would have actually still been alive right now. He could have took a shot. And again, he's doing the exact same here. He had a shot, he's going to take it. Now he hasn't got the shot. Even with the intro clip, the 3-second intro clip, he wouldn't have had that shot. So that is why there isn't really no right or wrong. People were going to say to me, no, you need to reload to at least 2 shells, or you need to reload all 3 shells. But there is really no right or wrong. It depends what you're comfortable with. If you want to get the damage to bring the tanks down to low enough hit points for your team to deal with, then that is how to do it. Again, here, he's got the shot off on the T92. He's going to get it off. He's not going to reload any more shells. And to be honest, this is where he could have probably done with reloading 3 shells. Because he is going to, I mean, if he reloads 3 shells now, he could definitely take out the T92 with 2 shells and possibly bring the Leopard PTA down to a 1 shot. Or he could possibly HE the Leopard PTA and take him out. But he's getting shot from all directions now. But he's still bounced 2,000 damage. And he is actually going to HE that guy and take out the Leopard. So unfortunately, he's not going to survive. He's not going to reload that shell in time. So as I said, there's no right or wrong. Yes, reloading just 1 shell and taking the shot off, your DPM is dropping. And if he would have reloaded the 3 shells, he may have survived this. He may have done a bit more damage, but he still did a great job. He's still done his damage. He's got 6k damage. He's got 2k block damage. And it's still a good tank. I think it's better than the Kranvagn, but I don't think it's better than the tier 8, which is what we're going to look at tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Definitely a tank worth grinding, but not the greatest of tanks, not the greatest of heavies with that DPM. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon.